Good morning, afternoon, and evening, Supercoach Elites. Welcome back to another Supercoach Elites podcast, proudly sponsored by our Patreons at patreon.com/SC Elites. My name's Corey, and as always, alongside me is the Bonfz Express.
Choo-choo! That's right, Corey. The Bonfz Express is back. And round 4 now we've got coming up, Corey. We'll probably preview the first few weeks and have a look at what's coming up. But before we do that, mate, where can the listeners hit us up on social media?
Find us on social media, or find us on Twitter and Patreon at SC Elites. Find us on Facebook, iTunes, and SoundCloud at Supercoach Elites. Now, Bonfz, apparently
mate.
there's a reason Brett's not here tonight.
Well, they tell me that he could be unwell, sick, vomiting,
Look,
dehydrated.
maybe.
But, Corey, what's the real reason?
Well, I think it was this week, mate, because I know you had a semi-decent week. You definitely jumped over the 2K mark. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Now I definitely jumped over the 2K mark. Sorry, what did you score, Bombs?
Oh, like 2012, I think it was.
Not bad. I dropped to 21.45. Now my opponent this week, Bombs, I got a real good percentage boost. 1,597. My opponent scored this week. And my opponent was none other than Obi-Wan DeGoey. And that's Bretta's team, mate.
He's fucking shit, that guy.
Sub 1,600. What the fucking shit?
It's a conspiracy. It has to be. It has to be. The dickhead still doesn't have Doherty. He's still running players like DeGoey. He keeps telling me Bont's good. He reckons Danger's a locked in captain for the next 18 weeks. He reckons Rao's no chance to win the Rising Star and probably hasn't polled a Brownlow vote at this point in the year. He's got no idea.
You want a couple of these names on field? Darcy Cameron, 28. Sam Sturt, 11.
A few of those are unlucky, though.
Tommy Stewart, 84. Guess who he captained this week, Bombs?
Man, I have no idea.
Bit of who am I? You missed out on his absolute gold rush last year.
Gold rush
Ruckman.
last year? Who did I miss? Oh, no, he didn't.
He captains Riley O'Brien.
He's fucked. This guy, he's actually fucked, this guy.
Yeah, and he's claiming sick.
I didn't
apparently
even see,
can't confirm or
that.
deny, but apparently a couple of the boys have been on Call of Duty with him all day.
Yeah, and they reckon that it might be true, but that's shocking. That's absolutely shocking.
I reckon false, to be honest. I reckon false. But look, we're not here to toot our own horns. Good week, jumped up the rankings. It was nice recovery from last week. It's felt good, but the show must go on. We got a couple of our favourite segments coming back this week, Bombs. Mainly Who Am I? Yeah. I was going to bring back Around the Grounds, but not too much to do around there.
Around the Pracky games?
Oh, around the Pracky Grams, around the training session. Can confirm, cannot touch each other. And honestly, look, I'm not going to pot shot McKenna. I feel bad for the bloke. Poor guy's got corona. But how fucking stupid are the Essendon Football Club? I mean, dead set. The AFL gives you instructions not to train in your fucking whole line defensive groups. They have every defender in a gym session together.
I don't know if they told them not to do your whole lines at one time, but
AFL have instructed that.
AFL said that was your fault for doing your whole lines together or something.
Would be encouraged not to spend your whole team line together. And by and large, I think their whole defence deserves to be out this week. They might as well drop their forward line because they are shit.
They're coming up against Carlton as well. You know what? It's the sort of game that Carlton would lose too. Mike.
He's going to absolutely feast. They don't have a ruckman.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, who wasn't in that training group was Zerk Thatcher. So we all could have just been kissed on the long Johnny, Corey, because we might have him back if he hasn't already been tried out of bed.
Game goes on. Look, we got a bit to talk about. We've got a couple of different, more of cosmetic, structural things to talk about moving forward. What happens? What do we do with those Essendon and Melbourne players? Bombs. Let's kick it off straight off the bat. There's going to be double game weeks. We don't know when. I
don't think there's. I'll say this straight off the top. I can say relatively comfortably we're not going to have double game weeks.
You reckon just incorrect wording from whoever wrote that article?
I think the games that will be scheduled midweek may have Supercoach points dished out, but it won't count towards game fixtures. It won't count towards overall points and all that sort of shit. That's what my gut's telling me, Corey.
Do you reckon maybe like a best of score for the week? Or too skewed because of Supercoach?
No, they're not going to do double game. I'm confident. I'm confident in that.
So you think that's just going to be a null and void?
I think that game, whilst it'll be like a practice match early in the year. You sort of see what people would have scored and all that kind of stuff, but we won't actually get the points contributing to a weekly score or a season score. That's my gut feel.
Did you see the article that was written that said?
I didn't know who wrote it.
Okay, so I don't know who wrote it. I think it was a Supercoach related article. Should have
Yeah.
screenshotted it.
Big deal.
And it did say something about there would be a double game week going on. Pardon?
Don't even know when this fixture is.
Well, that's my question. So if it's any time relatively soon, if it's late, hypothetically, we won't spend much time on it. But if there was, would we now just start targeting Melbourne and Essendon players?
It's a good idea.
Max Gawn, Petrarca.
You wouldn't mind having them.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Do they have anyone else relevant?
Well, I think Max Gawn, Petrarca,
even though it is the double.
You probably got Devon Smith.
Clayton Oliver.
Clayton Oliver.
I don't know how I missed that one. Dev.
Yeah. So
Zachy Merritt.
There's a couple of players, but I think that's dumb. I mean, a double game week first of all,
I wouldn't like seeing it. It's never
the 18 fielded was a fucking crock of shit. To be fair, it should have been minimum 20.
I reckon go the whole 22.
Go the whole 22, but 20 at an absolute fucking minimum is what it should have been. And I don't want to see double game weeks coming up now. I mean, we got no idea who, what, when, where, how, why, and fucking any other sort of question, one-worded question you want to throw out there. Don't fucking do it. Seriously?
Agreed. The double game
what about the teams that are disadvantaged, fucking people that had gone? Well, you know what? That's why there shouldn't be a fucking competition this year. It should just be a bit of fucking fun. Scrap the fucking money. It is what it is, I guess.
Scrap the money for what?
Like the 50K fucking, prize and all that.
Who cares? Leave it there. They get enough money. They can dish some out to the sponsors.
Yeah.
Well, my argument is don't worry about the disadvantage. Think about the disadvantage. You can argue that you're at disadvantage for not having them this week, but think about the advantage that the players who didn't have them now will have if they get a double game week.
Yeah, you'd be able to bring them in. I mean,
exactly.
Who won't be
I know for a fact if it gets named, I'll be going and getting Clayton Oliver. I'll be going and getting Max Gawn.
It all depends on when and how it gets named. I think that's the key here because if we're given 2 weeks' notice, everyone's going to use 4 trades to bring those guys in. If we are given absolutely no notice, it may mean a maximum of 2 games all of a sudden given. I would kind of like to see, to be honest, it get announced after like a Thursday or a Friday. And if it is going to be a double game week, get it whacked on to like the Tuesday or Wednesday the week after, when you can't hit the reverse button on your team trades and that kind of stuff. I think then it might start to mitigate maybe some of the, tactical kind of side of things. And if you have those players in your team, then rightly so, you kind of missed out 1 week. So, they're coming on board now. But I'm not a fan of any sort of double game week, though.
Agree.
I want to make that clear.
Look, let's scrap that. Let's go back to, how do I want to fixture this? I could go who am I straight up early. I think that'll be a good one. I think we'll go who am I, have a bit of a chat, and then we'll get into some kind of Josh Dunkley news and chats about that as well. Are you ready, boss?
Yep, go for it.
Who am I? Always like this better when Brett's here as well, but doesn't
Brett's
matter.
no good at this game.
I currently play for a bottom 10 side.
Yep.
Could say bottom 8 if you wanted to. Nah. I don't know. They're bottom 8, but
bottom 10.
Actually don't know that. Arguably been best on ground for my team in all 3 of my games so far.
Yep.
I'm a defender.
Oh, okay. You might have thrown me. Yep.
Yep,
okay.
I did because I know that you thought you had it before, but you can eat a dick. Had a couple of score involvements every game.
A couple of score.
Haven't had less than 5 marks in a game. My next worst is 9.
Haven't had less than 5 in your next. Okay, so your second bottom mark tally this year's been 9, sure.
Yep. My lowest possession tally for the year is 15, and my highest is 20. Who am I?
So you're getting 15 to 20 every week, and you're taking some marks. Well, I guess who's dominating in defence? That could be the question. Could it be Jake Lloyd?
It's not Jake Lloyd.
Okay. Who else would take a lot of marks? Oh, it's not Tom Stewart, is it?
It's not Tom Stewart.
Caleb Daniel?
Nicky Haynes, Bonfz. Nicky Haynes
Oh,
from
of
the
course.
GWS
Yeah,
Footy
right.
Club,
Fair
up
enough.
at about
The score
507k.
involvements had me thrown there.
Yeah, he has been super, super impressive, I reckon. And one of those ones that I think at the moment, we've got a lot of value up forward, but I think at the moment, if anyone's looking at getting Houston, could offer a little bit of value down back.
Yeah. His price point's nice. It's probably you're not going to pay a lot more during the year, and you're not going to pay a hell of a lot less. And I just think he's going to be consistently around that price. I'm probably not switching lead to Nick Haynes, to be honest. But
What about for
you know,
Houston owners? Because I'm having a serious look, mate. He's dropped it under 100 once with a 97. Everything else been, what he's got 114, 111 or something like that.
yeah.
He's looked bloody good early.
Yep. Well, you look at the defenders, there's only a handful averaging over 100. He's one of them. And I think the back end last year was very good. I think if I remember his last 3 or 4 games, all 100 plus as well. There's not much to come back into the time into the side that'll take points off him. I don't hate it. I think there'll be higher averaging defenders out there, but he will be in and around that tops, maybe 5 to kind of 9 bracket. And there's nothing wrong with the selection, I don't think.
The other ones that I like are Jakey Lloyd, but you got to pump out an extra 80k. How do you feel about Caleb Daniel?
Yeah, I feel like it's at the moment okay. Let's also keep in mind, he's a big Etihad man, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Dogs have been at Etihad or every game so far.
No idea.
Neither do
They're
I.
shit, so I don't pay attention.
But I'm going to say that. Did they play Collingwood at Etihad, or was
Yep.
that at the G? Yep.
No,
And
Etihad.
can't remember who they've had the last couple of weeks. Who they have on Friday night?
GWS, which was at
Etihad.
Etihad. And who else? They killed at Etihad.
Yep, at
They were
Etihad.
absolutely embarrassed.
And I spoke last year about, how good he is at Etihad. They've gone 3 out of 3 at Etihad. They've got the Swans this week. That'll be at Etihad. And 4 out of 4. So he's had a nice little run at Etihad. So I don't know what that means for the back end for him. Maybe it won't be as high as an average as it is now.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of questions about Dan Houston, and we'll leave that for when we get to our question part. Josh Dunkley, mate. I don't own him. You don't own him. I think I can't remember about you, but I know I was very cautious of him before the season started. I think you were too. We're on the same page for that, weren't we?
I didn't want him, not because I thought he was going to get injured, although I probably could afford.
No, but we did try and say stay away. Yep. But I knew he was going to get injured. You know how I am. Crystal ball's out, mate. It's there's just obvious things to predict. I knew his syndesmosis was under a bit of a cloud before the season started, but
great news for someone like me who's still running McRae and shit dog Bont. So
yeah.
yeah.
Look,
good things for Bailey Smith as well.
I was going to say, let's talk about his teammate Bailey Smith, who was almost my who am I. Do you know they had 4 players at 10 centre bounces last week, other than their ruckman?
Yeah.
And I bet you could name all 4.
Yeah, McRae, Bont, Bailey Smith, and Dunkley.
Yep, they were the only team other than their team they played in GWS to only have 4 players other than the ruckman at 10 centre bounce.
So if that's what they do going forward, who's the guy now from the Dogs that wasn't in centre bounces that goes in?
Lipinski?
Lipinski was dropped from the team last week.
Fuck, was he really?
Is it Libba? I'm surprised Libba actually didn't
Libba,
attend. Libba's in the team, but I'm surprised he didn't attend centre
maybe
bounces.
even have a little bit. They probably rotate a little bit more. Was Lipinski the one last year that absolutely kicked ass?
He was the one that had a lot of possessions. His scoring wasn't great, though. Yeah.
But yeah, that obviously happened. You'd say McRae gets a lot more time in the guts. They probably have a rotation. But Bailey Smith.
To be fair, though, if they've only had 4 guys rotating through, how much more time can Bunkley, McRae, and Bontempelli get? They're probably not going to get
Bont's not the worry. Bont's attended over 20 centre bounces every game. Actually, I think last game was 17. The 2 games before were definitely over 20.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. So Dunkley out.
But McRae hasn't. McRae's been playing off a wing. So surely McRae's the one that goes straight in.
But I don't know. What do you attend on the weekend?
Again only had about 10 centre bounces attended last week.
Okay.
Hang on, I took a photo of it. Leave it with me.
I just think, based on that stat you kind of bring up, you've had only 4 players over the weekend go in, and McRae and Bont were 2 of those 4.
Jack McRae, there was 15 centre bounces for the Dogs. Jack McRae attended 9. Bont attended 13. Dunkley 13, Tim English 15, Bailey Smith 10.
Okay.
Bailey
Don't know what you
Smith.
want me
I
to say
think it
there.
might be Bailey Smith, Tom.
It's not like his minutes in the centre bounces is going to be reduced. That's for sure. And he's he's doing this off not a lot. I feel like he's been good, but
Yeah, well,
I
bar last
feel
week
like
when last week he had 27 or whatever it was. Sorry,
but
2 weeks
before
ago he had
that,
27. Last week he only had 17 and a goal.
yeah, and he's gone, 101 again. So, but isn't that kind of typical though of what we're seeing this year?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's funny.
20,
I'll ask the
20
question
touches
because
and a goal is
it's
100
definitely going to
points.
come up, and I know where I would be. Jai Simpkin, Petrarca, Bailey Smith, 1, 2, 3.
Or should I just get me dog out, Corey?
Yeah.
All right. Joyce Himkin.
Yeah.
At 1. Well, Bailey Smith, I think now firms in at 2. Who are the other 2?
Petrarca.
And
I didn't say another one, but we might as well chuck
okay.
Greenwood in there because I think he's around that same price.
Yeah, I think, look, Petrarca's probably got the better ceiling. Greenwood for consistency. Greenwood, I feel like, is the safest out of all 4 of them.
You think he's? I think Jai Simpkins the safest by country mile. You're not worried about the lack of touches. I mean, Greenwood 12 tackles last week, absolutely fantastic. But he's not tackling that much. That score, half that score, and they had 10 touches.
You can be, but I think what you can also ensure is that sometimes there can be fluctuations with disposals. But when it comes time to tackling, if you can do that just week in, week out, that's probably one of the points of your game that you can get really consistent is your tackling. So, no, look, it doesn't concern me a hell of a lot. I feel like he's going to be the safest to continue on his merry way.
I think
but
Jai Simpkins the safest.
I think the others, if they continued on, would have a better ceiling average.
Yeah. So what? Simpkin, Bailey Smith. Is that purely because of the injury?
Yeah, I'd jack him up a little bit because of the injury. Then I'd
Petrarca's attended a lot of centre bounces as well.
Yeah, Melbourne aren't really a good football side though.
Yeah, no, not too bad. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Jai Simpkin.
Well, I mean, I spoke to you about him in the preseason. I have encouraged you to pick him up until this point, Corey.
You can legit suck my dick right now.
Well, if that's what I'd have to do, to reward you for finally listening to me, then sure,
I'd be filthy. You know what? I'd actually be filthy if I didn't pick him this week and we had it on pod and I had to talk about it again because remember last week? I'm like, enemy draft, I've got to get him, blah, 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 blah. Tell you what, thank you to Dustin Martin and thank you to Josh Kelly, by the way. Everyone who hates him, they got me Simpkin and Lockie Neal. Yep. And it meant I held on to Nick Nat because Nick Nat was going out for Pitney.
Yep. And just remember who encouraged those trades, Corey.
You shut dick when you thought I didn't bring in Jai Simpkin.
Hold on. You did ask me. You said Bonfz, Nick Nat to Pitney, and what was it? Dusty to some person, Simpkin. Whatever you're trying to do. Or do I get Simpkin and do I get Lockie Neal? And I said,
no. It was always Dustin Martin to Simpkin.
Yeah. And Nick Nat to Pitney. That's what I said.
Nick Nat to Pitney.
And I said, no, just hold Nick Nat. Ignore Pitney for a week.
I was grabbing Pitney unless if Kelly was playing, I was grabbing Pitney.
Gee, that's interesting. Anyway, regardless, whatever it is, you followed my advice. That's all I recall.
Yeah, don't think that happened, but all right.
I've got
anyway, let's move on from that. Those who own Josh Dunkley, this is the more important question.
I trade him.
There's another. Actually, obviously they trade you, dickhead. There's actually another defender that I want to ask you about as well. That I forgot to bring up before. But you own Josh Dunkley. Who do you go to? Is it that obvious that you have to try and get if you don't own them, Lockie Neal in that 5?
There's 3 midfielders I'm confident in only so far, Corey, and they are Neal, Fife, and Cripps. I have not much confidence in everyone else, and to be fair, the 4th one I have most confidence in is actually Andrew Gaff. Yeah,
that's on my list right now. The other one that I like too is Clayton Oliver, but literally on my list of my trade targets for Dunkley is Neal 1, Fife 2, Gaff 3, Cripper 4, Oliver 5.
Yeah, I think if Oliver's got a double game week coming up, you jump on Oliver early now with Dunkley.
Yeah, Oliver's you're super consistent. You know you're getting 110. Fife and Neal are just absolutely monstering this season and are probably going to break Supercoach records going forward. Cripper's the same. He's probably a touch above Neal in that consistency average as well. And Gaff is just having that much of the ball and can use it. And he's just inflated points. I think he's safe as houses as well.
Gaff is a very, very good selection. I think if you've got no money, I'd take Gaff over Oliver, but that's in a situation where there's no double game weeks. I think the double game week, you do get yourself Oliver over Gaff to start with. and then you move on your gaff. But ideally, you want Neil or Fife. Either or. Neil's got a handy matchup this week in Adelaide, which will certainly be interesting. And Fife's got Gold Coast, which we're not sure what's going to go on there with Gold Coast because they've kind of been all right and haven't really given up big points to midfielders at this point. And Cripps has Essendon, who he could absolutely, monster as well. So if you don't have one of those three, I think you bring one of those three in because that's an automatic captain selection for you too. But if you haven't got the cash to go up to him, it's Oliver then Gaff. Only because if what you're saying is true, Corey, double game week, but I'm not a big fan of that.
Yep. For those who missed, well, not missed now because they probably got lucky, Benalla Rivers, is it time that you just downgrade someone to them? If McInnery doesn't come in, you don't have him, you don't have Benalla. Is that the trade you make this week?
Yeah, it's what I'm looking at this week.
Yep. Same as you already grabbed Rivers the week
I
before,
got
didn't
Rivers after his first game, so
But same kind of thing.
same kind of thing. I think the two players are still bargain basement price. They're going to play this week. Potentially, they've both got double game weeks coming up. How do you not pick them both?
See the other ruckman from Sydney that dropped 101. He's like 230k, but the guy that was a late in.
Yep. It's a ruckman's game. I mean, Pitternet's probably the third or fourth highest averaging player in the league at the moment.
Yep, which I did say to you last week, averages 134, and that's what you have to look around.
Averages 135 and a half now, Corey.
Yeah, mate, he's a lock. I'm, probably trading that to him again this week. Any other rookies that you know of?
That are coming up, I think it's. I'll tell you what I've been impressed with Starcevic, and fucked if I get that one wrong. I mean, he's gone back to back, and I'm looking at it thinking, fuck, is it even worth switching, Noble to Starcevic or something like that? And I'll probably.
What's Star's worth at the moment?
About 20 less than Noble.
Oh, he's only 220 still.
230, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, but then if I do something like that, I'm unable to afford my Dangerfield to Lockie Neal, which is my primary kind of trade that I want to get done.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think we both have to ride the wave too. The worst part is we both went to Robertson that fucking game week 1.
Yeah, I mean, we could have had Starcevic sitting on our pines at the moment instead of Robertson, and instead I've got someone generating no cash, and the other dude's made fucking 80, something like that, with probably a negative 80 break even or something.
Do we think that we're going to have a shit ton more rotation this year? Callie laid out on Friday night. Dangerfield obviously saw Dusty saw ribs. You can't really control that. That was a little bit earlier, but the Callie laid out. Do we think probably the training loads are a lot lighter under prep? COVID.
Anything different?
Do you think there's going to be a shitload of rotations going forward?
No. I mean, we've seen this Josh Kelly before. This is the biggest risk he has in selecting him. His points are always good, Josh Kelly, but this is why maybe people have stayed away from him. Sort of, I don't want to say classically because it's not like he's been around for 12 years. And Dusty, I mean, bruised ribs, freak kind of shit. I think we start to see rotations if and when we start to get these double game week kind of fixtures in. And that's the biggest risk to all of this because, you could be bringing in a Gorn or an Oliver or someone like that for a double game week, or a Devon Smith or Zach Merritt, whoever it is. But then on the back end, it's kind of like, now if they're not pulling up, 100%, gee, do they actually get to the line for the second game that week? What kind of happens in that space? We're all a bit not too sure.
Probably a real simple one here too, but with trades, I think we just need to reiterate the fact here: hold your trades for as long as you can to the point of a single game week, round 4. If your teams, the players you're looking at trading in aren't playing, or trading in or out aren't playing on the Thursday night, don't make your trade on the Thursday night.
That's right.
Same as Friday. Set an alarm.
Just now, I've had a little bit more thought. This double game week, Jazz. I think we may even get 3 trades that week. The option for 3 trades. I think that shit that would not surprise me one bit. And
5.
The uproar that there will be from the people who may have started Gorn or Oliver or got number one of these players. Gee, that'll be big. That will be big, and it's skewed and it's not fair. And I acknowledge that, Corey. And I'm fucking not about this season. I'm all about integrity, Corey. You should know that. Give us the rules from the start. Don't give us fucking floating rules. Don't tell us fucking 8 games deep into the fixture. Oh, you know what? The 9th game's now postponed, and you know
They
what?
already fucked that
Only
up with 5 trades in round
I
2.
know, and 18 of your fucking players. Look, I know you want people still looking at your website so KFC can make their fucking money, but I'll tell you now, whether people play Supercoach or not, people are digging into their fucking wicked wings. I can rest assured, Corey. Don't you fucking worry about that, KFC. It's a bit of a joke this fucking season.
Oh, it is what it is, and at least we've got footy for now.
Well, we've got footy. We've got something to do, but fuck. I mean, people get invested into this kind of stuff so seriously, Corey. And when people get invested, emotions, I think, run high, and there's going to be a lot of backlash. I think a lot of backlash. And I don't envy the people that have to make the decisions in relation to this, because one way or the other, the sooks will come for you. It's not an easy thing to do.
No, not bad.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Is Matt Rao winning the Brownlow after 3 games?
If Lockie Neal didn't exist, probably.
Very
It'd be
good.
tied. He'd certainly have probably, I don't know if he'd have 6 votes, but I thought he had 3 on the weekend. I actually didn't see his 170-point game, whatever it was. But if you base it off the Supercoach points, I guess he did have a best on ground there too.
I think it was best on ground in both those games, to be honest.
Yeah.
Ready for some questions?
Yep.
I've just been kicked out of our Patreon chat on the computer for some reason. So we'll just jump on the phone and have a look. Oh. Why are people having a conversation in the podcast question 3?
I don't know. You know that happens every week. I'll tell you the one thing, and I know we may talk about it at some point, but what I learned, I think, from the weekend, Corey, aside from, Ruckman are still very, very good. Jai Simpkin, now, from all the piss taking I was doing before, where I recommended it to you to him, Corey. Have you seen how big he is?
Yeah, I said that. It was the first thing I said in the preseason.
And you know what? I think I just brushed you off because he was probably at 1.65 kilos, and I thought, oh, maybe he's about 74. Mate, his arms are fucking huge.
Yeah, he's a unit. You know what it reminds me of? When Pendlebury was like first in the system and he was
Pendlebury
a tiny
was
twig, and then
not
he
that
came.
big.
No, but he come back one preseason and he was just a lot bigger than what he was at one stage. He's not as big as Jai Simpkin. Yeah, he's a unit. He's put on a lot of muscle.
Huge, and his contested work.
Yeah.
I mean, Jai Simpkin, and maybe now because he's on the radar, watched him more closely and maybe appreciated more about what he had to offer. But his inside work, but not only that, I think his just kicking skills around the ground, was able to use both feet. Just the size of it, I was actually so impressed with him.
He's always been an excellent display. Like, he's always used the ball really well.
But I think now that he gets more of the ball,
definitely,
you're seeing it more, therefore you can appreciate it more.
Mate, imagine we're
sense?
playing full games. He would have had 30 touches every game.
Well, then it's a matter of, can he run out full games?
I think he can. Well, in this season, that's irrelevant.
In this season, it's irrelevant, and that's why we're happy to start with him, obviously.
And next year, we're not going to get him as a forward. So
No,
I think right now in your team, besides Lockie Neal and Nat Fife, he's the number 1 target you should be going for.
And that's because he's top 6?
With ease. I think he's arguably second, probably behind Dusty on the end of the season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he passed him. And now, actually, sorry, I can't even say that now because I think Dusty's come back and playing forward.
You think he's a number 1?
He seriously could be the number 1 player at the end of the year.
Yeah, forward, that is, yeah.
Forward, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, he's no Mark Pitternet, Corey, Pitternet, because, he's not averaging 135.
No one's that much of an enforcer.
Bygones be bygones, Corey.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you told me at the start of the year that my forward line could consist of players like fucking Jai Simpkin,
Segler, Devon Smith,
Bailey Smith. I don't even have Devon Smith. I wouldn't have been. That's like a Petrarca. Right now in my team, after playing around with the trades this week, and this is probably a good segue into the Whitfield talk. I would currently, and I was just having a play. This is probably not set in stone because I'm probably going Bailey Smith over Petrarca. But right now, I've got Simpkin, Petrarca, Segler as my big 3 up forward.
And I'll say this because I say this to you. I feel like almost every week in private chats, we never talk about it in the podcast, but Brad Ebert is overlooked in this conversation every single fucking time.
Yeah, but the one thing again that I worry about with Brad Ebert is are they going to keep doing this? You think?
No, they're not going to keep doing it. But I think he's experienced enough to continue to pump out scores. 104, 127, 116.
Yeah, all off a high half flank though.
Has Petrarca not done it off a high half flank?
Petrarca's had 20.
Is Devon Smith not doing it off a high half
Devon
flank?
Smith's the only one. Petrarca hasn't. Petrarca's been in the guts every week.
Hey, I'll tell you now, if you don't
I
know
think
Devon
Petrarca's
Smith,
their highest CBA attended player in their team.
he might be. He might be. But Chad Wingard does it off a high half flank. And I know Chad Wingard probably gets a bit more of the ball. And Devon Smith as well. I mean, we talk about the Essendon backline getting wiped out. What's going to happen when Andrew McGrath gets put back to the back pocket to
I don't
cover?
think that's happening.
But who are they going to play in the back pocket? They need players with experience kind of like in that back
They're
line.
fucking shit anyway. Who cares?
I'll tell you now, Devon's...
Go down to Coles. I'll tell you what they can do. They can go down to Coles. They can go to the cashier behind the counter. They can give him an Essendon jumper. He can run out there, and he's probably better than the fucking 6 defenders that normally run out there anyway.
I will just say this. Keep an eye on Devon Smith's centre bounce attendances if that back line's suspended for 2 weeks, because you are concerned about his lack of centre bounce attendances. What I'm saying is that he plays midfield, just doesn't attend centre bounces. He may now start to attend centre bounces.
Now, look, Dev, I could probably see being top 6. But a player like Brad Ebert would be at best, a player that I'd round my team out with.
Keep underappreciating him. It's all right.
Well, until you get him, I'm just going to keep knocking him. And then when you do get him and he drops a 40, that'll be the best.
Not for you. No, wait, for you, maybe not for me.
Maybe Townsend might go play back in defence and actually fucking do something.
I will say this. I mean, some of the concern we have around, Simpkin, who are some of those other young players? Petrarca, Smith, all these. The flip side of these players when they don't do so well is what we saw from Connor Rose on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pumped to 30 after averaging 145. A lot of people would have jumped on board. Win the Discord the other night. And, one of the things, because we love to jump on there Thursday, teams drop, all that kind of stuff. One of the things I was certainly talking about with some of the guys was, let's see how Rose pulls up against a couple of good teams here. We knew Freo was going to be I thought they were going to be more competitive than what they had the first 2 weeks. Now they've got West Coast and Brisbane.
Did you watch that game, the Freo Thingo game?
No, not a lot of it.
Man. Oh, God, it was piss. Yeah, I don't think Connor Rosie's a wet weather footballer.
Yeah, that as well. As well. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens West Coast Brisbane the next 2 weeks, because that should decide whether or not Rose is going to be in that sort of top line as well. But his role is that kind of half forward role, that you're kind of talking about. But they've also just had Wines come back into the team too. Yeah. So, you got to think about these kind of things.
That was always the worry. I think Jai Simpkin is the number one target you should be going for. And again, perfect segue. Lockie Whitfield has to go.
Is he named this week?
If he's named.
Why would he go?
Break even of 200. It could almost be one of those beautiful cash generation players historically don't. No, hear me out. Players historically don't play great off a concussion. You wanted to get rid of him after round 1.
I did, when he was 600 and something thousand.
He's still 540.
Look, what's he going to go down to? 450, and then what am I doing in a few weeks? Scrambling to bring him back.
Yeah, well, by that stage, you could probably go fucking Curtis Taylor straight to it.
I mean, this is what I was talking about when I said, we're given 2 trades. We're going to do patch jobs. We're just fucking sideways in. You can talk yourself into these kind of fucking trades every single week. You can just sideways. You never actually end up upgrading your team.
Can I ask, though, if you had nothing else to do, right now, I mean, my team's a prime example. I've got Bernal, I've got Rivers. I have no rookies to go down to. Would it not make sense to go fucking Whitfield to... I've already got Simpkin, so I can't use that.
So Petrarca, you get 60k, or Bailey Smith 60k.
Yeah.
Would it be the worst thing you could do? No, certainly not. I mean, you put 60k in the bank, don't you? But then you're sideways in. Your predicament is probably a little bit different.
You potentially have, Bailey Smith keeps going 100s. He's 550, 560, 600k. You're picking up a bottomed out Whitfield at 450. You've already had a 250k swing right there.
I acknowledge that. Yeah, I acknowledge that. It's not the worst thing you can do if you've got nothing else. I just think if it's if you're basing your trades around prioritizing something like that, I think you're going about it the wrong way.
Yep. And then not to mention, I mean, if Kelly's out and Lockie Whitfield's playing, then I think you get that lock in the midfield, Lockie Whitfield again.
I think if Lockie Whitfield's playing, just fucking keep him. It's Lockie Whitfield.
I believe 2 weeks ago you were just like absolutely smacking the bloke, and now.
Yeah, I was, but 2 weeks ago I had alternate reasons for wanting to do that, and now I'm thinking, well, I've already lost kind of 70k on him. He's playing. He hasn't had a soft tissue injury. He had a concussion. I'd rather do Dangerfield to Lockie Neal than worry about doing Whitfield to Bailey Smith.
Friday to Friday, is that enough time? 7 days.
It's always been
What's
7
concussion
days.
protocol at the moment?
Look, if he's out, there's no doubt. There's no doubt he'd be on the chopping block. And for me, he probably would go to, Bailey Smith or Petrarca because this whole fucking double game week shit's fucking thrown me. I think it's rubbish, and I feel like I shouldn't be basing my trades around it. But I feel like the more of them you have, the better chance you're going to be in a few weeks when it does arrive.
Fuck, that's going to be a mess. And then not to mention, if they do a double game week, think about how much of a disadvantage that is for a team like a Melbourne who might have to play 3 games in, 18 days.
Yeah, and you know what? Someone like Bernal's not going to get through all that as well.
Yeah.
Someone like Gawn might be able to. Who knows? They probably played Jackson through that period as well, I'd imagine.
All speculation anyway. Hopefully they fucking find something better to do.
Just don't count the games for us, fuck.
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. Right now, who in your team is pissing you off the most?
Actually, I'll just come up with a new idea. Supercoach HQ. No. Don't fucking double game week us. Say they score, right? They score on a Wednesday. They go take the field on a Saturday and they score again. Don't add them together. Take the highest score.
That's what I said earlier. Take their best score.
I didn't even hear you say that.
Yeah.
We didn't acknowledge it.
But does that
Well, then I like that idea then.
Do you reckon, does that not skew? I mean, it's probably a better. I was going to say, does that not skew?
It's better than adding them together.
Yeah.
And I think it's a happy medium because then if a player only plays one game in that period, well, then you just get that score.
I think that's the most sensible way to do it.
Well, if you came up with that, then good on you. I'm going to read.
I didn't come up with that. In all fairness, I seen it on Twitter.
Well, I like it. Whoever it was, we don't have their handle, so too bad. And that there would be, I think, the most logical thing to do. Now, who my team's pissed me off the most? What do you want me to fucking start, Corey? Because all I need to do is look at my midfield. Tom Mitchell, you can fuck off. Dangerfield, you can fucking join him. And Bonfz, you know what? You can lead both of them out of there. You're all fucking tossers.
I thought I had problems with just Dangerfield.
Well, I've got 3 of these fuckheads that aren't top 8. And you know what? Before the weekend, I would have thrown McRae in there too.
I don't understand that. Like, Dangerfield's actually having the same numbers as a Jai Simpkin.
He's shit.
He's fucking. What happened to his kicking?
Gone.
You remember when there was a stage where he would just not miss a set shot?
No. I think that's never been the case with him.
Nah, bullfuck. There was a stage where he would just go in front, slot it, no problem. Dangerfield.
Bring me the stats. He's never been a good set shot, that guy.
All right, I'll give it to you. Hang on.
Give it to me. That's never. I'm very, very confident that guy's never been a good shot.
67% in front of goal.
Of his career?
Yeah.
On the run or set shot?
No, obviously you're not watching me because I just sat back in the chair for a little bit. I didn't look at anything.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I'm not because I got the Supercoach page open. But if he's running at 67%, he's probably
running. Don't take that. It was not gospel.
Yeah, but he's running a lot better on the run than he's a set shot. He couldn't kick a set shot.
He's always been good on the run. But fuck me, man. I'm watching this dickhead line up for goal every week, and game on the line, first quarter shit. That's always bulk points. He's kicking behind.
Yeah, no, stuff him. He's gone. Oh, and we all know here how much I hate Bontempelli. But Dangerfield, you're gone before him. I'm sending a fucking message, Corey.
All right, so you're obviously doing Dangerfield to Neil, yeah?
Neil or Fife.
Neil or Fife. All right, if you had nothing else to do, for those who have Neil or Fife, and my team's a perfect example. Would you rather Whitfield down to a Smith, or would you rather Dangerfield to a Gaff or Oliver?
And that means everyone's playing this weekend.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm assuming fucking Whitfield's in, hypothetically, air quote marks.
Dangerfield to Gaff.
Yeah. Well,
it's safer.
I've done it.
It's safer, and this is purely on Bailey Smith's age. The fact that bit of a cushiony run here at the Dome to kind of start the year, and more so the age kind of thing though. But Gaff's going to be Gaff. I think I had him in my top 8 at the start of the year, did I not?
Yeah, I think we both did.
I'm very comfortable with what Andrew Gaff can bring week to week.
All right, so say take Bailey Smith out, go Petrarca.
Yeah, no, whoever it is.
Okay, you still have
whoever
it. Unless it's Jai Simpkin for anyone
because it's Lockie Whitfield.
Jai Simpkin, yeah, of course.
And because it's Lockie Whitfield. I mean, Lockie Whitfield, I feel like, even if he does shit the next couple of weeks, he can still come back and still be a top 6 averaging forward.
Yeah.
However,
Oh, he's a lock for a top 6 forward.
I think Danger, mate, you're fucked. You actually cook. Like, I don't even want.
You know what's funny is the underlying stats don't look that bad.
They don't.
It's...
They don't. Maybe the bias isn't there, Corey. And when the bias isn't there, the bias isn't there.
And it's funny too because it was everyone Danger at Jam HBA, Danger at Jam HBA. He's at the G this week. He's probably going to score fucking 200.
I'm almost going to hold him there, Corey.
But
I mean, you can't write off champions. They still had 9 scores over 130 last year.
And mate, he's a fucking highest centre bounce attended player in their team. He's got fucking having 24 every week.
Yeah. I hear you. It's not like they've got scoring issues.
It's incredible.
They may have, but they probably did come up against the best team in the competition on the weekend. But, but prior to that, it's not like they had scoring issues. They beat Hawthorn by 10 goals.
Man, surely we can't trade him. He's just fucking. They've just.
No, he's gone. He's gone, Corey.
Carlton. He's gonna go out there and annihilate someone.
Well, fuck it. Then he'll annihilate my team too on the weekend. But I've had enough of him. I'm sending a message.
How good is fucking Mitch Duncan, by the way?
If there's one player, it's Corey. His season has been utterly shit.
He just gets the cheapest touches for cheap points.
Yeah, his season's been utterly shit, Corey. But looks like I'll be losing a slab to you.
Were you on Jake Lloyd watch on the weekend again?
Oh, I was. Did you see 70 at half time and he ended up on 101? Now, you know what? That would have been 145 if there was that traditional junk time.
Yeah.
It really and truly could have been. And I think Brett brought him in this week as well. And I was thinking 70 and a half time. I go, fuck, now I'm going to have to hear this bloody dog talk, right?
No, thank God. Bring him in, did he?
Well, he told me that's what he was doing.
Nah.
Oh, he's fucking lied to me again, the dog. Did he bring in Doherty?
No.
He's an actual flog. Like, he's feeding. He's just a flog, that guy.
Hang on. No, can confirm. No Doherty. Can confirm. No Lloyd.
What?
He already had Tom Stewart, didn't he?
He brought in Tom Stewart the week before.
Yeah. And he already had Rory Laird. Did he have Sicily?
Yeah, I think he started with Sis. You know, Doherty is the 3rd highest averaging defender.
Brett's got...
Do you know who the 2nd highest averaging
Brett's got
defender
Oliver Viney. Brett's got Oliver Viney and Petrarca.
Big Melbourne man. I no wonder why he won by 500 points in. Hey, do you know who the 2nd highest averaging defender is?
I would have liked to say Jeremy Howard. I think that's wrong.
He's the 1st.
Oh, is he?
Yep. Braden Maynard, Corey. No, Braden Maynard.
On the season?
On the season, 104, 105, 125.
Holy fuck, that went under the radar. I love that guy.
That did go under the radar. He's just out averaging Dockers. I mean, we're talking skill points here, but
hang on, what's he gone? What's his scores?
A ton.
Yeah, but what was the last one? So he's averaging over 110.
111 he's averaging, yeah.
Holy shit. What's he worth?
487, mate.
Fuck, no way. Surely you could pick Braden Maynard.
Not at this point. I think you need to see a lot more footy.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's interesting, that one. How's that for a who am I? I should have given you a who am I there. You never would.
I would not have got that in a million years. You know why? Because I don't normally check Supercoach scores while I watch Collingwood games.
Yeah, touche. You see it at the end, surely.
Yeah, but I don't really pay much attention to a Braden Maynard. I'm not looking oh fuck Maynard this.
What did Maynard score? Yeah.
Shit.
No one's doing that in their right mind.
You still got Fisher McCasey, or did you trade him out?
Never had him, man. I don't know why yet.
Well, he still hasn't gone past his round 1 score. His round 1 starting price, sorry.
Shit, they're a basket case, that club at the moment.
I was on with your old mate Dazzle last night, and we're actually talking about.
Why'd you get on with him?
Oh well, I offer and he jumps in. I don't mind having a chat with Daz. But fuck me, how with that midfield? I'm not saying it's an elite midfield, but you would expect they're better than the names. Are they that shit? You know their fucking problem. This is what we were talking last night. That they tried to keep their stars, who probably aren't even fucking stars, start with all these rookies, and they just got rid of all their fucking role players. All their hardworking players, like your Greenwoods, they're just shit. They're shit. They are the 2nd shittest team in the AFL.
Their deficiencies are all the same though, Stray. I mean, Sloane Crouch with Rob in the kind of form he is. It's a good start in centre square. Like you can't say the names aren't good, but it just does not get the job done.
But they're all the same player. That's why.
Yeah.
I
No, they
mean,
got to do
not
some work.
one of them could fucking outrun Gary Ablett. So
Hey, Malira out seemed to have had a positive effect on Laird, given he had a ton on the weekend.
yeah, I said to everyone, but his game was identical to what it's been for the last 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Except his 8 touches in the first quarter were boosted to 38 instead
Yeah.
of 19, like he usually sort of had. Yeah.
He's still on my radar. Don't worry about Rory Laird.
Yeah. Oh, he's not on my. Is he not in your team?
No, I didn't start him.
Oh, okay. Well, he's just permanently in my team, so I'm not worried about
I
trading him.
started that other fuckwit from Port Adelaide,
Houston.
and Ken Hinkley's a fucking dog. I hate him almost as much as I hate Essendon. But he had to play back on the weekend because Bonner was out. No centre bounce attendance. Fucking dogs. All right, we were doing questions. Where the
I
hell
think
did
so.
that go?
I don't know, somewhere.
All right. Oh, great. Now they're not loading again. I think that's where we had the problem.
I think I just started talking.
All right,
because
yeah.
loading.
Ruboy23. Do we have a problem with Dangerfield and Whitfield? Who do we target trades of, if so? Yeah, we already just discussed that.
Yeah, we discussed it.
Little Peanut. Should we hold Dustin Martin?
If you're holding the first week, then yes.
I think that's the case too, but I think be scared. I think Dusty's going to be a lot like freaking Heaney moving forward now.
As in rolling the team, plays
Yeah.
a lot more forward
Yeah,
line.
I think you'll see a lot more in the next 4 to 5 weeks of Dustin Martin, unless the Tigers get in serious trouble. I'll tell you what, too, don't fucking mind St Kilda at $3 against Richmond this week.
No.
Hot shame. Danger can't get out of my team quick enough. Hello, Oliver. Anyone considering Jaeger O'Meara or even Shield with the double game week imminent? Shorter quarters suiting both Jaeger and Shield. I'm guessing the issue is that at the moment with Bombs and Demons, we don't know how short the turnaround in their total games will be.
All right. This is my take on the double. You're going to bring in double game week players, right? Only bring in the ones that are actually a genuine chance to finish the year in your team. Don't go fucking giving me names, Dylan Shield. Don't go fucking bring in Darcy Parish into this conversation. Don't bring me that shit, okay? You want to bring me Oliver. You want to bring me Gorn. You want to bring me Petrarca. You want to bring me Zach Merritt. Fine. But look, aside from those 4, just don't fuck with any of the other guys.
I agree. I don't think Dylan Shields top 10. I think he just
No, he's not. He's just someone you're going to bring in so you can fucking trade out again. People are going to be too fucking focused on this double game week, right? And then when they've only got 2 trades a week after that and they're trying to upgrade their team, they're going to be stuck with all the donkeys they've tried to bring in up until that point. And you might have won 1 game week there, but you were going to lose every single week after that.
Very good. Fuck, there's some good calls here, man. The Patreon boys, they fucking got it on. They got it on tap. Shane Milroy, how shit is Bretta? I had the worst score. He's like, I had the worst score. I dropped 22k spots and I still beat him.
It's about time he cop shit because I'm always the one fucking copping it.
Yeah, he is shit, Shane. Don't worry about it. Benny Roth, I really hate that we're talking about sidewaysing Primo so early in the year. Last week, I went to Dusty to Petrappa, trapped me by not fucking playing, nicked that to Pitney, and banked myself 360k. What do we do with Whitfield first? Tick, already talked about it. And secondly, what do we do with Andy Brayshaw? The water boy has better time on ground.
The water boy might have better time on ground. Did he ton up or get close to a ton on the weekend, I think?
No idea.
Hold on. Let me bring it up. But look, I think Rothberg I've been speaking to for a while, I'm pretty sure, and I don't really think I've ever had advice to hold him, to be honest. And purely because of his time on ground is so poor. He's scoring, look, he's gone 78. No, he only scored 82, which I thought he had more than that. He's not a top 6 forward. And you know what? He's got some currency. Somehow he's made 10 grand on the year. He's only averaged 80. 393. If you can find 100k, you could do a lot of things. You could find 60k and get Segler. You could find 90k and get Simpkin. You could make 20,000 and get Devon Smith. There is a lot of options there to play with in the forward line.
Hey, I just want to say something too more on this topic. Hype players, preseason hype players. I mean, I know it's going to happen again next preseason, but if you ever think back, okay, we're going into the start of next year. These fucking hype players pop up. Just think to yourself, did any of these hype players last year get it right? Any of them? Because the answer is no. Because I can guarantee you Simpkin wasn't a hype player. Dan Houston, and Brayshaw. They were probably the two most hyped names in the preseason, and they're both fucking dogs.
I reckon Segler was pretty hyped. Petrarca was.
I don't think Segler was super high.
I think people really enjoyed it because he was a ruck forward.
Ruckman, yeah, and we went in there. I think there was a little bit more data
Still
for that than there was for anything else.
They're still hyped. Petrarca was highly hyped. Again,
Petrarca's been highly hyped for the last fucking 5 years, though.
Yeah, but this is, I guess, what you're getting at. So some have paid off, a lot won't. Happens every year.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Think about it.
Yeah.
Millsy. How fuck is this? Poor me, Millsy. Me and Millsy were talking about Josh Simpkin 2 weeks ago. Obviously, I picked him up last week, but fucking hell.
You should have borrowed my dog.
He should have. You should have come around.
I've never given that dog so many treats. I have to say, since the weekend, he's eaten more treats than his body weight.
I love it. So we went and played golf on Friday. For those who don't know, it was on Twitter. We had the cup tied, first time ever, but we'll take it. Nice tie. We're a little bit intoxicated. We won't name the course because there's strict no drinking.
Yeah.
No strict no drinking rules on this course. And by the way, I fucking haven't told the driver story about Bretta yet. For those who don't know, Bretta broke his driver.
Bit of a
last week as
social.
well.
This is a bit of a social fucking podcast at times as well, isn't it?
Two weeks in a row, two drivers gone. We'll get to that in a second. But we get in the car on the Friday and we're driving to the golf course. And was it Friday? Yeah, Friday.
Yeah,
So
Friday.
when did you do the video?
Thursday night.
Thursday night, yeah. So I'd already traded Simpkin in before the game, and I didn't actually see. I was on the source. Had played golf and then got on the source. Had Big Zerha man over, so watching the footy. And I hadn't seen the video until I think it was maybe late Thursday night, Friday morning. And me and you were having a chat, and we got in the car, and you asked me if I brought him in, and I said no. And then you confirm or deny, crack the shits because you said his name was only down because I was picking him in. You would have put who else? Who was the other name you would have put on there? Greenwood. Yeah. No, Greenwood's already on there, wasn't he?
Was it Petrarca?
Yeah, one of
them. Greenwood. Who
maybe
was the other
Smith
one?
or someone.
It might have been Rose I put down there.
Yeah, Connor Rosie. Yeah, you left Connor Rosie off, and you only put Jai Simpkin on there because I said I was going to get him. And then, you shut dick for a little bit before I traded you that. And look, while we're on the story of social golf, we went out and had a hit with Bretta on Thursday. Down at, where were we? Mount Derrimut. Nice course. It was in good condition. Seniors Day, so fucking stuck behind a couple of the old fellas down there. But driving, I think it was on the 11th or the 12th. And for those who don't know, Brett's got the shittest set of clubs in history. They're literally from 1964. Like, he got them from an old shot or some shit. The one club he does have that was incredible is his driver. He had this fucking absolutely amazing Cleveland. I think it was a Cleveland, one of the Cleveland Classic or something. That he got a couple of years ago, brand new. Anyway, Bretta's short game is a bit questionable. Bretta's putting game is absolutely questionable, but Bretta can drive. Bretta can absolutely fucking cream a ball off the drive. He was hitting them all right out there on Thursday, and I think we've got to the 11th. I think I had a 2 or 3 shot lead on him and he's absolutely creamed this drive. I'm talking probably 250, I reckon close to 300 straight down the fairway. It was the best drive of the day. And anyway, I've driven off and it was a good drive, but fucking had about half of what Brett had on there. I've bucked a shot, bucked another one, and then I've landed next to Brett. So I'm like 4 to Brett's 1, and he's in my head. And anyway, as we're driving over the hill to get to this thing, the clubs fall out of the back of the cart, and he picks them up. Driver completely snapped. And the look on his face was just of utter defeat, Bonfz.
Yeah, good. Fuck him. He deserves
defeat.
it. And you know what? No, fuck him.
And to add on that, he imploded. I beat him on the hole and absolutely smashed him for the rest of the day. he was a man defeated.
So,
and it just, you know what? It just correlated into the weekend as well.
So I think 2 of us have lost a club.
Yeah,
I think
you know what they say. Things happen in threes.
Kind of hoping this is next, though, to be honest. Because that would be funny.
Oh, you would love that. Sorry, Millsy, to be off topic. Having missed Neil and Fife and having my opponent cap one of them every week and chopping me up. With not a lot of cash generation coming up, do I target these 2 players or do I now try and get the likes of Simpkin, Lloyd, Oliver types to fill his team around the lower end primos in his midfield? then target 2 players around 700k. Feeling a bit like my season is done, but want to try something before writing it off.
These players, Neil, Fife, averaging 160, 150, whatever they are, they're not averaging that for the rest of the year, right? So they need to have poorer scores in order to eventually, bring down that average, say, to 130 on the season, maybe 135. So are we chasing points right now? Yeah, sure. But I think, Lockie, Neal and Fife, what they give you at the moment is confidence in a captain option. And I feel that when I look at my team, I have a severe lack of confidence in a captain option. Example, I went Titch into Grundy last week, 96 for Titch, 103 for Grundy. Cripps is like kind of good for like a 115, 120, but he's not rocking those 150s at the moment. McRae did fuck all before that. All the other premium midfielders aren't doing much. You can't trust a defender. Do you really want to trust a ruckman? Do you really want to do a, Pitane, Segler, Nick Nat, something like that? I feel like Gorn, Neil, Fife give you confidence in a BCC option every week. And then you can add Grundy and Cripps kind of into that mix as well. So just remember, when you're trading these guys in, you're probably getting more confidence in your captain option. And so you're probably getting 2 of these guys instead of just 1.
Tell you what, another player that I don't think we're giving enough credit to at the moment is Toddy Goldstein as well.
Yeah, sorry, of course. I just assume that no one kind of has him, but he's averaging, I think, 150 odd on the season as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's still probably not.
Do you know what's
I
funny?
don't know. It's better than Grundy.
If Grundy is continuing to be sore, he clearly looked a little bit sore the other day. I tell you what, fucking, there's crazier shouts than Goldstein Gorn running forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, I think, almost bizarre to mention. But
and if you don't have Goldie, you just look at his last 10 games last year. He probably averaged 150 over the last 10 there as well.
Fuck, imagine how scared you are though coming up against fucking Grundy every week as well.
Imagine how scared you are coming up against Goldie.
I don't know why, but I feel a little bit better coming up against Goldie than Grundy, even though points don't suggest it.
I'm more intimidated by Goldie this week, and it's gonna be interesting what Segler versus Goldie can throw up this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Goldstein's almost in career best form, and remember how good that year was.
I agree.
I'm only going to ask you this because I want to hear you go on your little rant again that you do every week. What should we do with underperforming players like Josh Kelly, Dangerfield, and Whitfield? Normally we don't sideways trade, but this is not a normal season.
No, I agree. I'm not going to go on a rant here, Corey, because look, maybe not Whitfield. And who was the other one? Danger. And who?
And Kelly.
You can fuck Danger and Kelly. I've got no issue.
I
with
almost
that.
think that on this season, if a player misses a week and you've got nothing, and there's nothing there to go down to go one up, one down, you fucking might as well use the trade on the sideways.
Yeah, I don't mind it. So I'm not going to lose shit at people for sideways trading primos. Again, new year, new bunch of shit. Fuck it. Let's just get it all out of our system now. When we're back next year, let's not do it.
It's almost good if people do it now because then next year they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah, they get sucked into it. They're like, oh my God, it worked out for me last year.
Does thoughts on Noble scoring 60s? Has he maxed out? What's the options here? Whitfield hold or go to Baz Greenwood or Simpkin. If you're going to do that, go Simpkin. And Haynes, trust him, top 6.
I actually don't mind trading Noble to Starcevic if you got fuck all to do this week, to be honest, just because you kind of make 20k, but also you get the huge break even. The thing with Noble, I feel like, okay, this might sound a bit weird, but when it comes to him, he just looks dashing, but I feel like he just rushes his ball use and then just doesn't end up hitting target. So
it's funny because the thing that I think about with Noble when he first came in was how classy he was at using the ball, and he just looks shit at the moment.
Yeah, the ball use isn't great, so he needs to work on his, I guess, his what do you call it, composure. If he continues to get named, that's okay. He's not maxed out by all means because, his break even might be 39, but don't forget he had a 40 the week before last. So, you got to give that a week or two for that to disappear from his system. So if he backs up a couple 60s, 70s here, his break even's going to stay, mid to low 30s, and he's going to be all of a sudden 280, 290K with the same break even. So certainly not maxed out. But if you've got nothing else to do, the move to Starcevic, don't hate it. Put it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't, like I said last week, I wouldn't be surprised if he was dropped.
Yeah, if
I think
he
the
is,
only
I
thing
mean, then
helping
he
him
is.
is winning team.
Yeah, and if he is, then we trade. I mean, that's not an issue. I mean, he's
How good was
250.
Tyler Brown on the weekend? Just quietly.
Yeah, I mean, he pumped out an 80 odd. That was much needed. I like the goal he kicked. I actually did a big kind of fist pump when that happened as well because I was using him as a loophole option on the weekend, Tyler
Same.
Brown. So, which didn't matter in the end because
w-
McInnery didn't play.
We'll give our Table King a little bit of airtime here. Where to start? Fuck round 3 and best 18. 5 primos missed because of that decision. Had 3 bench players with no E, all at 80 points and above. Should have been top 18 regardless of lines given the timing and circumstances. I've officially blown a gasket. Captain Dangerfield and the dumb cunt to add salt to already gushing wound. There is a question here. Do I trade miserable Danger or sideways trade Rosie to Simpkin? Danger gets 5.
Rosie to Simpkin. Fuck, that's actually really hard because they're a bit much the same. Would you rather the combination of Danger and Simpkin or Rosie and Fife? That's line ball. That's
I
genuinely
reckon at the
line ball.
moment Simpkin and Dangerfield, and that's
Only
because I think
because
Simpkin's fucking. But if here's my other thing that I think helps or actually could fucking hinder him, with Xavier Dersma going out.
yeah, it's line ball. I feel like Simpkin and Danger might be a little smarter because Simpkin, I think we now think is top 6, and
Top
we've
2.
seen we probably feel that Danger can turn the tide at
Switch it,
some
yeah.
point, and if it turns, you're going to feel like a dick trading him out.
Again, I wouldn't be surprised if those two switch. I just worry now. Does Rosie have to be more time on like a, as a forward flank? Nah, probably not. 'Cause they've got really good.
How much does
flanks.
Fife beat Dangerfield by on average for the rest of the year?
I could honestly see them both averaging 120 going forward.
Do you think Fife could beat Danger by say 15, 20 on the year?
He could. I don't think he will. From this point to the end of the year, I don't see him beating him by 15, 20. Fuck, actually I could. Yeah, I definitely could because I could see Danger. I could see Fife averaging 130 and Danger going 110.
And what do you think the difference between Simpkin and Rosie is from this point?
Simpkin out averages Rosie probably by about 30.
So you're saying the difference between
Actually, not 30, probably 20.
So then you're just making a line ball call. I feel like you're more confident in Simpkin beating Rosie by 20 than you were Fife beating Danger.
100%. I'm more.
So therefore, in your situation, you would bring in Simpkin and hold Danger.
Fuck, you should just sit here and let everyone ask you their trade situation every week.
Then make them reflect. I just make people reflect, Corey. It's all I do.
Very good. I reckon more people should use you in your one-on-one time that you offer up every
Not too many people, Corey. I do have a lot,
weirdest
mate.
times. Arogo, thoughts on Luke Ryan and his scoring potential?
To be honest, I haven't given Luke Ryan second thoughts. What's he even done this year? I know the back end last year was sort of good. I assume this guy probably started with him because what's he averaging on the year? 80. Nah, piss him off. I'm done with that. I don't want anyone.
Frogger wants to know that if you were running last week, would have you done plug-in average or projected for Melbourne / Essendon, best 18 or best 22?
If I was running the league as if I was running Supercoach?
Supercoach, yeah.
I reckon I feel like I would have gone to best 20.
Yeah. Fuck.
I feel like 20, look, and the reason I say that is you got 18 teams, 22 fielded. You take 2 out, you're taking 1/9 out. So what's roughly 1/9 of 22? It's probably 2 point something players. So just round it down to 2 players get taken out. So 20, best 20.
Okay, if Lockie Whitfield gets knocked out in the Forest and none of my opponents are forced to copy score, has he still shut the bed?
Yes. I was in that situation. I mean, I didn't carry his score this weekend, but my opponent didn't have Whitfield. So Corey, I was with you on Friday night when that happened, and I was in a fucking mood. That's for sure.
Was funny as.
This was not funny for me.
It was. It was actually a dummy spit. The toys were out of the cot.
I think I would have beaten this guy even still with 22 in the end because he had Josh Kelly and fucking Toby Green, so he had a bit of shit go wrong for him.
Wado wants to know why GWS players are so soft.
Oh, fuck. I don't know, man.
Ruboy, is Boak becoming a must-have? That's one player that we haven't given enough attention to.
Yeah, not a must-have, but let's not forget his average of 130 is skewed by that 160 on the weekend. So I'm not calling him a must-have, but certainly
A lot of
he's a guy
midfield
on the
minutes too.
radar.
He seems to be the only Port Adelaide midfielder that's guaranteed
Yeah,
midfield minutes.
yeah, he's a guy on the radar, but he's not a must-have.
Williamson versus Rivers. Williamson. Oh, that's one we didn't talk about.
The Carlton guy. Yeah, look, I'm confident his body will give in. To be honest,
Go check the photo that he's posted. Would Williamson have to get rid of those sideburns first?
I don't need to look at
Very
the
good.
photo. I'm relatively confident I know what's going on there. But look, this guy's a good user of the ball, and they were just waiting, I think, for the injury to kind of come through. 53 he scored. He's just at sub 150. You know, Rivers is named. Just go down to the 117k. He's locked into that Melbourne team. It probably won't take much for Williamson to either get dropped or to succumb to another injury, I think.
Who went out? What did he take?
Nick
Oh,
Newman.
Nick
Nick
Newman.
Newman
Fuck.
had
Surely he holds that for the year.
yeah, he might be able to hold it. I just think that, and I speak about this a lot, that Carlton back line is an area I think of strength in terms of, you know, you got Simpson, you got Doherty, you got Petrevsky Seaton, you got Jones, Marchbank still to come back into that team. You got Weeders there, Plowman. You know, how many, you know, I've already named 7 defenders without naming Williamson. So it's kind of like, you know, where does he actually kind of fit in there? I'm not sure that he actually does.
Well, he's in a winning team, mate. So
Oh, he's getting a game this week. We know that, but he's also going to succumb to injury, I think. And I think you're just going to get better points from Rivers anyway, and he's cheaper. Get Rivers. Yeah.
it's fair enough. What about the option that, you know, McKinnery out? Oh, that's only if you've already got like someone that can go swing a defender into the midfield. You got a Rivers or something, or, you know, swing a forward into the midfield, Brander up forward.
Yeah.
And then
Don't forget
bring him
about
in.
that.
Yeah, you know, use a 3-way trade for a non-playing player to get that extra defender in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. All right, beautiful. Vice captain and captain.
Now, Corey, I mean, I gave you 5 names, and apologies do go out to the Patreons who should have received something from me last week. But
In all fairness, is in a bit of a state.
And I was in no position kind of before that to kind of do anything as well. So I do an apology. My article will be early, will be written tomorrow, so that way we don't end up in this situation again. But like I said earlier, I've only got 5. There's only 5 worthy people. Well, there's 6. Depends if I'm ballsy enough to put one of them in there, and I might just speak about them on the article as opposed to dropping it here. But the 5 people that are worthy of a thought would be Cripps,
Matt Rao.
Yep. Grundy.
Yep.
Lockie Neal.
Yep.
Nat Fife.
Yep.
And Max Gorn.
And sorry, you missed the 6th. And
oh, sorry, Mark Pitternet. Yeah.
Sorry, you missed the 7th.
Oh yeah, Matt Rao.
Thank you. Their favourites again, the Gold Coast Suns.
I'll tell you now, that was some good footy. I thought Adelaide were going to actual rebound, but that was some. I didn't see their first game, but I saw that one because I was actually half interested in it, and they should have been 7 goals up at quarter time, to be fair, and they kicked like 2 goals 7 or something like that. Adelaide had a scoreless quarter. They monstered them, but I think sometimes we see with young teams when they're starting to sort of do things together, they just struggle to kind of just to put all the pieces together and have that real complete performance.
Yeah. And I'll either be going Grundy into Neal or Fife into Neal.
Yeah. And you know what? There's that many options. I think Neal's the obvious. I mean, they're against Adelaide. If Matt Rao can do 141, you know, I think we can be comfortable. Neal might be able to do 150 plus here. And that's why he'd be my number 1 trade target this week, Lockie Neal, because of that fixture. He's at home. He's averaging 160 on the season. So, you know, spoiler alert, he does come in at number 1 this week.
Is Matt Rao a keeper?
No, he's not a keeper. I mean, let's not be stupid. I mean, he might be the first-year player to average 100 because he probably only have to score like 85, 90 every week from here to keep an average above 100, to be honest. I think he can go deep, though. If we're running out of trades and, you know, the worst thing you've got is, you know, Matt and Rao pumping out a 95 at midfield at 8, then you're not in the worst position because Dangerfield's probably still pumping out 70s at that point.
If Matt Rao became a top 6 midfielder this year, would you consider him next year?
Fuck no.
Only because that first year player kind of bullshit.
Well, I think
just because there's too much variance in this season.
When I pick my starting players, Corey, I need to I need to have a bit more history than 1 year,
Okay.
especially for the midfielders, because you know what? That's the line that's meant to carry your team. And I feel like, I'm only ranked fucking 6,000 overall. I'm not actually, I don't think I'm that poorly ranked, but my 6 midfielders, and with the exception of Cripps, McRae, Mitchell, Danger, and Bont have been really poor. I mean, if that read, even Cripps, McRae, and then, I don't know, Fife, Neal, I don't know, someone else that's fucking done pretty good in the first 3 games. Imagine me overall ranking, then I'd be fucking, 1,200 or something. You know what I mean? Those midfield spots are meant to carry out. I would not be confident letting Raul do that kind of work starting
Yep.
next year.
But you almost picked Sam Walsh this year, so that's interesting.
That's a fucking lie, mate.
Yeah, cannot confirm or deny. Anything else to add? No.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Little bit of silence from there. It's been a bit of a long pod. This one.
What was this?
Yeah.
Well, probably not long for the listeners because they enjoy the social aspect of it all, Corey, don't they?
But look, it was much needed. All right, to lead us on behalf of Bonfz, myself, Brett, who's still crying over his driver, our patrons at patreon.com/SC Elites. Peace out, community, and thank you for watching/listening.